Okay, this is the first video documenting repairs to my fifth wheel RV trailer. This is an older trailer. It's a 1989 Travel Air Rustler. It's a Canadian made trailer. They came out of Red Deer, Alberta. The company that made them went out of business a few years ago, and I've heard a few good things about these trailers in comparison to their American counterparts. Namely, most of the Canadian trailers, at least the ones I know about, have plywood flooring, and the use of plywood throughout the trailer for most structural components, just like this cross member here. It's all plywood. Other than that, I made a few improvements to this trailer. One is welding another section of square tubing underneath the main frame to lift the axles by, or to lift the whole trailer by about 5 inches. It reinforced the main trailer frame and gave me additional ground clearance. I've had a few issues developing here, and in part they are due to lack of maintenance by the previous owner and admittedly by myself. One big issue is the butyl sealing tape around any seams, be it windows or corners of the siding. And once this material leaks, you'll end up with rotten sections in the trailer. And my original problem, the reason why I'm tearing this trailer down to the degree that I'm doing right now, was a corner up on the roof. And this trailer has 2 levels. The lower living level and then the bedroom level goes up, and there is a crease in the roof where it bends upward, and the rubber membrane peeled away and pulled out of its trim, and water could get in, and it caused a leak and water damage inside the trailer and all the way down the wall. So one big area that I'm going to address here is this particular member here, this 2x4. But when I started to pull the siding off, I discovered a few other areas. Right here, the front corner is one where the battery box was, and this leak actually did not come from up top. This leak came from underneath, and there is a metal membrane under here. Unlike most modern trailers which use plastic, this older Canadian trailer used a metal or sheet metal underneath, which I don't know, might be a better solution to many things. However, here we have a problem, and that is that this stress fracture, I believe it was, occurred. Water got in, it soaked the insulation inside, held water, and well, there you go. It rotted out some of the floor and up into the framework up here. So this is an area that's going to have to be addressed. I'd like to briefly address issues with butyl tape. Now, butyl tape is a good product. It's used on all kinds of seams, windows, anywhere siding transitions into an opening through the wall. And the big thing is it works really well. However, it doesn't last forever. It is a maintenance item on the trailer. So you can see how I could just pull this piece of butyl right off. And yeah, this should have been replaced a long time ago. I believe about every 6 years owners should book the trailer in or do it themselves or whatever to have all the sealing tape around the entire trim, around the entire perimeter of the trailer replaced. A good indicator for butyl being worn out and dried up is the fact that you can just easily pull it off the siding. So there are numerous places where this is the case. This is old stuff. Let me just go around the other side of the trailer. I'm not quite done here yet, pulling the siding off, but here's a good example. You can just, this butyl tape just comes straight off the siding. It is supposed to stick actually. Without it sticking to the siding, it can't do its job of sealing the gap in between the window and the siding. So yeah, this stuff is done. So it's gonna get replaced. Luckily, and in this particular window, I haven't had any issues with leaks. All the framing is in good shape. For comparison, let me go around the other side again. In my bedroom, I replaced the windows. It used to have old louvers in it, and it's a fairly large window, and I'm telling you, large louvers are always an issue, especially in this location. There's an air draft going around the trailer when you pull it on the highway, and large louvers with a large surface area pulling against air pressure are always a bad idea. Anyway, I replaced it with a slider window, and I used new butyl tape, and look how this newer tape is sticking to the siding. Like, it is difficult to pull it off. This is how it's supposed to work. Without it sticking to the siding properly like that, it is not working. So this is newer material here. Now let's take a look at some obvious design flaws or manufacturing flaws that I encountered. Look up there where the membrane comes over top of the wall. There used to be a piece of corner trim over top of that, but in behind it there was no sealing tape. So guess where the water went? The water that sheeted off the roof and ran down the side. It hit the corner trim piece, got in behind, and then went right into the screw holes. Without any sealing tape in behind it, or silicone or whatever to keep those holes sealed, there was really no barrier from water getting into it. So I have an issue with the top of my wall having rot issues. Anyway, all the screws that came out of there were all rusted. So that's definitely an issue to be taken care of, and I'm telling you, Once that trim is going back up, there's going to be sealer in behind it. Another big issue I had with this trailer, and I had this from day one since I got it in about 2006, and that problem is in the front. I'm gonna go out. See how this floor is designed. The wall is coming down all the way down to the bottom, leading into this main member right here, which ties the bedroom part into the main wall of the trailer. But then the floor sits sandwiched in between the wall rather than the wall sitting on the floor. And the floor is fastened to the wall using a series of, well, essentially deck screws. Right, number 8 or number 6. Don't know what it is at this point. Screws, long ones. They look like that. That's one of them right here. About 4 inches. Here's the other side. You can see how it's sandwiched. Anyway, if you look at the frame underneath, there's the kingpin box, the frame. The frame ends just short off the wall. So the frame is pushing against the floor. As soon as you take the weight off the landing gear there and put it onto the kingpin, you're going to have all that weight sitting, pushing against the floor from the bottom up. Well, all that floor is held with is a whole bunch of deck screws pulling sideways, not even lengthwise. I just see a failure waiting to happen, and in fact, when I pull this front wall off, you can see how all those screws are all sheared off. Here are the end pieces of the screws. They sat on like that and they're all sheared off. Go figure. So seriously, for what it would have cost to leave this floor just a little bit longer and let the wall ride on top of the floor so the floor is pushing onto the wall from the bottom up, or the other option would have been to leave this subframe here, or this trailer frame, a little bit longer so the wall sits on top of the frame rather than the frame ending under the floor. Well, I think this would have solved a whole bunch of issues here in this trailer. So, well, what I'm going to do now in order to fix this, the whole siding underneath here is going to get replaced, and I'm going to extend this frame a couple of inches here to bring it, to let it end right under the wall, and then let the floor sit on top of the frame. I'm going to fasten it through the wall and to the frame, and then the floor is no longer a load-bearing piece, other than from up top, with 2 adults sleeping in the bed. So I suppose I'm going to end this video right now. I'll keep adding new ones as I go along, as I find stuff, and I'm going to replace a few components in this trailer here, framing, etc. And yep, I'll keep this video stream going. Thanks.